You've probably heard people talk about frameworks in business. In fact, you have probably heard me share many frameworks: my Progress Wheel framework, Community Cultivated framework, my Retention Accelerator framework. I have a lot of them. But do you really understand what a framework is in business and how to leverage it? My friend Mel Abraham is an absolute genius at this. And so I wanted to pull out a little highlight from a longer episode conversation that we had where he shared his own framework, at least the beginning of it, so that you could see what it looks like to have a framework, how you can leverage it inside of a speech or even a sales conversation, and really get an understanding of what a framework can make possible in your business. Can you give us, I know you just walked through this, but for example, like your affluent entrepreneur framework, maybe that's one to share, but I want to give people more examples of this. They've heard me talk about my community framework: cause, culture, communication, and connection, and how those four things work together to create a thriving community. But I want to give them another example as well, if you don't mind sharing one, so that they can start to just see how this comes together. Because I will say this: when I first asked about frameworks on that Facebook post that you got tagged in, people were saying, "Oh, I have a template for this." And they were sharing like Google Doc templates. They're like, "Oh, I'm really good at creating these." I'm like, okay, clearly we're not on the same page about what a framework means. And so I really want to drive home for people what it is, how it applies, give them another example. And then let's talk about like how to leverage them, to get more sales, how to leverage them to keep people in your programs and help them get more results.
So let me I'll walk through the beginnings of my Affluence Blueprint framework. And I'll do a portion of this that I typically do in my keynotes. So I don't unpack the whole thing because there's another part of this. When there's open space, the mind wants to fill it. That means I keep a connection and they know there's a gap and they go, "Oh, I need the answer. I need the answer. I need the answer." So here's how this goes. This is about me trying to help people become what I call an affluent entrepreneur. And so I'm going to do it as if I was presenting it so you'll start to see it and then I'll unpack it if that works.
That'd be wonderful. And I'm selfishly taking this in. I have 3 speaking engagements over the next 3 weeks where I present my framework, and I'm already going, "Oh, we're going to go back and work on that." So I'm looking forward to it myself.
Sweet. So here's the thing that I've been obsessed with for most people is I want you to become an affluent entrepreneur. And what that means to me is that what I found in the years that I've worked with entrepreneurs and their money to try and make that happen is there's 3 critical outcomes that we need. And the first critical outcome is that they end up with a richer lifestyle. And now this isn't about the money in the bank. Richer lifestyle is about the feelings you have and how you're experiencing life. And we know a lot of people that probably have made a lot of money, but they're miserable. Their health sucks. Their relationships suck. And that isn't richness. Richness is the experience and the joy that you have. Now, it could be a tent in Montana, a yacht in Monaco. No judgment here, but I'll take the yacht in Monaco. But the question is, what's your richer lifestyle? The second critical outcome is that you have a deeper impact. As entrepreneurs, we know that we're impacting our customers, our clients, the people we serve. There's 2 other impacts that we fail to really deliberately think about. And the second impact is to the right and left. It's the people we love. It's the people that share life with us. And we got to ask ourselves deliberately, how are we showing up in that space to make that impact as well as the impact in front of us? And then the third impact that we typically leave off the table is the one in the mirror. Who do we become in the process of becoming an affluent entrepreneur? And when we know that we can impact and become the kind of person we want to be, and that we're impacting the people we love and the people we serve, that's the kind of impact we're looking for. And then the third critical outcome for an affluent entrepreneur is that they have complete freedom. Now, I have a lot of people that say, "I just want financial freedom." Well, that's the most rudimentary freedom because it really isn't the money we want. It's the things the money can give us. And so there's 2 other freedoms that I think we actually are looking for. And the second freedom is time freedom. The freedom to decide what we're going to do with our time. I actually think our wealth should be measured in time and not money. If I asked you today, how much of the moments of your life do you control? That would tell me how rich your life is. And the third freedom is mind freedom. It's about having the freedom and the peace of mind to know that the people, the causes, the missions, the movements that you care about are taken care of. long after you're gone. And so that's the three critical outcomes of an affluent entrepreneur. And now you sit back and go, great, Mel, what do I need? You need three systems in place. The first system is you need a system to generate. This is to generate income. This is where you scale and optimize your profits. This is how you go from a drip of cash flow to a flood of cash flow. This is how you make the money. And most entrepreneurs are really good at that. They make the money. But what they don't do is that they end up spending the money, so they don't do the second thing. The second system you need is a system to accumulate the money. How do we take the income and convert it to assets? Because that's where we multiply the money. It's where we create a money machine that gives us the support we need to do the things we want, to have the time we want, because it's not tied to just making money. We create a way to multiply the money we make. And then the third system you need, which unfortunately we need in our society, is we need a system to insulate. How do we go from exposed to protected? How do we shield what we make and our ability to make it so our causes, our missions, our movements, our family, our loved ones, and our future are taken care of? So that was the basics of it.
It's so good because if you're listening to this, you can see him doing this from a stage, and you can see you doing this on a webinar or as an intro in the onboarding videos inside of a course or a program. And I know I'm sitting here going, this is the missing key for so many entrepreneurs. Like, it is the missing key of having this one or two, these core frameworks that, if somebody calls on you at any moment, at any time, and any day, that you can communicate effectively what it is that you do and what it is that you make possible. And I hope everyone heard that, is that it wasn't just like, here's my framework is the how-to of accomplishing XYZ result, right? It was based on the outcomes as well that people are desiring. And then you got to, okay, look, and here's like the three things that you need to get in place. But it wasn't, I think we're so quick to get into the how and the details of it all that we think my framework needs to be a step-by-step plan. But for you, it's like really designing this life of an affluent entrepreneur. And what is so cool about what you just communicated, that is their desire, but they can't even communicate it themselves. And so what you've just done is taken what is in their own head and communicated it back to them better than they could have ever communicated it to themselves.